Hi there, my name is Paolo and Salmi, aka Science Adventurer, and I'm 10 years old. Welcome to my show called Adventurous, where I get to interview super cool adventurers from around the world about their life journey. I'm the youngest ever ambassador for Water to Go, and my website is www.watertogo.eu/Paolo then Salmi. I also work in partnership with Laughter Products and Virgin Money. I'm also the founder of Adventurous Publishing House, where I publish books for adventurers who desire to share their adventures with the world. I also have a signature program called Pints as Adventurer, the Abundant Adventure Creator. I'm an award-winning author of a book series called Pints as Adventurer, and I am an award-winning public speaker. I've spoken at events such as Mercedes-Benz World and Virgin, etc. I'm super excited about interviewing this awesome adventurer called Cheryl Chapman, who's an author, public speaker, and one of our first family mentors, and so much more. Cheryl has helped us from when we started personal development to where we are now. So thank you, Cheryl. So hi there, adventurer Cheryl.
Hello, adventurer, pint-sized adventurer Paolo. Thank you for inviting me. I feel tired listening to all those things that you're already incredibly amazing at. I feel like I wish I had the energy that you have. But thank you for inviting me to your show. And it's super exciting to hear all the exciting news that you and the rest of the family are doing. But you're a busy guy by the sounds of things.
Thank you. So welcome to my show, and thank you for letting me interview you. I'm really looking forward to interviewing you. I believe that in life there are two types of adventures that we can go on. An internal adventure of self-discovery, and two, an external adventure out in the world exploring the peaceful earth. So are you ready, Auntie Cheryl?
I'm ready.
Okay, so your first question is, what is your why and why do you do what you do?
Well, that's a really good question, isn't it? So my why is to guide others to stop saying or stop asking, really, why me? You know, people ask, why me? Why is this always happening to me? So I'm here to guide people to stop saying, why me? And to start saying, why not me? So in other words, why not? Why not me? You know, everybody's incredibly amazing. Everybody's born with exactly the same kind of, ability to be a human being. On a journey, and so my why is to guide others to start saying why not me.
Wow. And you've also written a book about Find Your Why. I've read that and it's really good. Even though it said women only, I still read it because it sounded really interesting. Yeah.
Well, when we first started, when you first start this journey, you'll be the same. You know, what kind of things do you know about, as a 10-year-old boy that you can help other 10-year-old boys, definitely, but maybe people who are a little bit older or maybe younger, or they could be girls and boys as well. So when we started out writing the book, myself and Mariam, who's the co-author of Find Your Why, we really said, well, who do we know about? Well, we knew about women of a certain age. But the book and the techniques in the book, the tools that we share can also help men as well. You're a little bit young for this, but when you get a little bit older, there comes a time in your life when you start saying, is this all there is to life? And is this the same thing every day? So we actually have the book now, which is for men as well. So I'm glad you enjoyed it. Yeah, we wrote it about 4 or 5 years ago. I was inspired by a guy called Simon Sinek, who wrote a book called Start With Why. But I found that it was very corporate and it was very masculine, actually. So a lot of these stories that he shares are about, tanks and war and boys stuff, if you like. So I wanted to create a book that was a little bit more feminine. But as I say, the book can be read by men, women and children because it's just very, very simple. The book looks at 3 points: awareness, intention and manifest. Although we do have a different slant on that one, which is move your ass. For the last one, because you've got to get into action, which I know you guys are always in action, you and your amazing mother Sabrina, and the famous 5, as I like to call you. So so we wrote the book with the intention of helping people to become even more freaking awesome.
Yeah, that's what we need now, because not everybody in the world really thinks that they're awesome, because sometimes they have to go to people to tell them that you're cool, you're awesome, you're unique. you are the only person who can do what you can do. I really love your book because it shared all about that, and it was really, really amazing. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you, Paolo. Thank you very much.
So our second question is, do you like to go on adventures?
Do I like to go on adventures? Well, it's really interesting because my natural instinct is to say, no, not really, because I like being at home. Because you've been here to the lovely space that we have here with all the nature and with Lola dog and my family. So I like to be at home. And yet at the same time, I've just literally flown in from Doha in the Middle East because that's where my husband is working at the minute. And in 3 days' time, I'm heading down to the south of England, then across to London. Then I'm flying to Marrakesh on Sunday for 10 days to do a Find Your Why retreat with Marion and some awesome women that are coming to help to find their why. And then I fly back in. I'm going to be in Manchester for 3 days on a course, and then I'm going to fly out to Dubai. So I guess it would be a little bit wrong for me to say that I don't like adventures because life's pretty much an adventure anyway, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh my God. I don't even know how you keep track of those things.
So before we know it, it's October.
I said I don't know how you keep track of those places where you're going. You should go all over the place.
I know.
Manchester, Doha,
I know it.
south of England. It's crazy. Sounds like you're really on an adventure.
Yes. Well, life's an adventure, isn't it? So even if I stay at home, that's still an adventure because if you go outside, you listen to the birds, you put your feet in the grass, that's still an adventure, isn't it? So yes, my answer is yes, I do like adventures.
Thank you. Thank you for your answer. So what is the best adventure you've been on and why?
The best adventure?
Yeah.
Oh, gosh, that's a good question, isn't it? The best adventure? I think, oh, gosh, there's so many. I think most recently, the best adventure that I went on was on holiday with my husband. So I like going to the Caribbean because it's usually warmer than Huddersfield, which is where I live. And I like to go on a cruise because what I like about going on a cruise is that you can be at sea for a few days. It means that, you can chill, you can turn off, you can go and have a massage or just do some sunbathing. Because my mind's very active because I'm so busy. So it's quite nice to just sort of chill, turn the brain off for a little while. And also, like every other day, you wake up in a completely different place. So I really love the island of St. Martin. But usually on that particular cruise that we go on, you go to St. Thomas and St. Kitts. And I really love seeing all the different cultures. So that's quite cool to wake up in a different place every day. So I think that's probably the most kind of like personal adventure, as in holiday adventure. The adventure in terms of business was when we did our very first retreat event. And actually your mum, Sabrina, and Yasmin, and I think Trey Sean as well came to that event, which was way back 6 years ago. So it was really lovely to do that. That was a little adventure because we didn't know if anybody would like what we did or would benefit from it, really. We knew we benefited from the knowledge, and would some other people benefit from it? And that was really the beginning of the Find Your Why Foundation. So that was an adventure in terms of business as well. So I had two answers. Is that okay?
No, that's perfect. Love it. Every moment of our life is our best adventure. That's why you had loads to think of.
Yeah.
Sounds like really good. Yeah. So the next question is, who inspires you and why?
Who inspires me? Oh gosh, I have so many people that inspire me, really. I really get inspired by everyday people who go through everyday challenges and problems. So all of my mentees, they are awesome individuals. They're so freaking awesome and amazing. Sometimes they don't realize. So they inspire me every day with their stories and what they're doing. If I was going to look at somebody, maybe famous that would inspire me, I've always been inspired by Madonna. Purely and simply because my sister was a big fan of her when she was younger, and so was I. We went to see her, and I was amazed how she didn't let age become a problem. You know, she definitely looks after herself health-wise. She's a little bit risky in places. She doesn't follow the norm, so I'm inspired by her. I'm also inspired by the fact that I don't think she actually has the best singing voice, but she's never let that stop her becoming, you know, truly amazing and entertaining people. And then I also like people like Maya Angelou. I like her poetry. I think she's amazing. I just get inspired all around me. I mean, it's not even people really, it's nature a lot that inspires me, because nature just happens, right? Just grows, just keeps going, whether or not it's sunny or it's raining or whatever. And I'm really inspired by you and your brothers and your sisters and your mum, because, you know, you just like get out there, don't you? You know, you do what you love, which is great. And, you know, again, you don't let age stop you, as in, you know, most people would say, oh, 10 years old, why would you do that? But like, you started young and you're determined and you've got a lot of self-belief. So I get inspired by a lot of people.
Thank you for sharing. And how you said about how nature inspires you, it inspires me a lot as well, because it's about a life cycle. So one plant grows from a seed. In the Amazon forest, one plant grows into a flower or a tree or a plant, and an animal comes along and eats it. And then once that animal dies, then the seeds from that plant that he's eaten goes back into the ground. So it just goes round and round. That's what I really love about nature. It's so natural. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. And also, if you think about it, you know, if you look in the garden, you'll see that there are some daisies, for example, or some dandelions, and they're just not trying to be anything other than being a dandelion or a daisy, you know. So, you know, I think that's a really good lesson for life. So, you know, I'm a Cheryl, if you like. That's the name of this plant, if you like. You're a Paolo. We don't have to be like anybody else. We can be ourselves. You know, no point trying to pretend to be anybody else or try to be like anybody else. Everybody's journey is completely different, but we're all part of the garden of life. So, you know, we're all there. I love the saying about weeds, actually, because weeds are just plants that are not in the right place. And sometimes I think in life, you feel like you're a weed, you're a bit out of place sometimes. As you get older, you might feel, oh, am I in the right place? But actually, you're just being amazingly you. So that's the best thing to do. Yeah, wow. I love that. I like your analogy as well. It's really good. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you. So the next question is, what has been a pivotal moment in your life, and what did it teach you?
Ooh. How long have you got? I've got many. I suppose the biggest pivotal moment was when I was at an event in 2011. It was an event at the Troxy in London. So you might know the Troxy. It's like an old theatre that was converted into do events. And I know you and your family have been to lots of events. And I went along to see a guy called Bob Proctor, who is like one of the grandfathers of personal development. And that day was the day when this small guy from Essex, I thought, but actually it's Kent, came on stage and he said, if you were to die tomorrow, who would mourn your loss? And I thought he was talking straight at me. I didn't have much of a life then. I didn't have many friends. I didn't get out much. I was drinking alcohol, which was not very good for me. And I was quite a sad person back in the day. And so I felt like my life wasn't really making that much difference to anybody, let alone myself. So that question really spurred me on, because then he said, if that number is small, it meant you led a life of small influence. And sometimes in life you hear things differently from what they were said. So what I heard was, you're a waste of space, you're not doing anything with your life, so, you know, if you died, who would care anyway? So that was a pivotal moment, because I signed up for the gentleman's course called Andy Harrington. That's how we met, of course, because that's where I met your fabulous mother, Sabrina, and Lachey and Trey Shawn, when he was really shy back in the day. So because of that, because of Andy Harrington, you know, I'm very, very blessed and very grateful to have been, you know, around him. And also have met some incredible people. You know, I went on to become the trainer for Andy, and also trained a lot of the ACE coaches. So that really started me to think about life in a different way. So if you like, that's where my why not me began, because it's like, well, why not me? I might be nearly 50 years old, but I'm not dead. I've still got a lot of life in me, and so I'm about to change my life around, and that's exactly what happened. So I'm very grateful for that pivotal moment in my life.
Thank you. And a lot of pivotal moments in our life teach us a lot of lessons, because maybe like when you went to that event that you said, when that guy said, what would you do if you wait, what was the question? What did we ask?
It was if you were to die tomorrow, who would mourn your loss?
That really teaches us a lot, because tomorrow isn't guaranteed, so just make the best of it.
Yeah, exactly. So we never know, do we? An accident could happen that cuts our life short. We might get poorly, you know what I mean? Or we might live like way past 100. Who knows? But every day should be lived as if it's. I mean, there's a saying, live your day as if every day is your last. That sounds a bit miserable to me. Live your day every day. Full stop, you know what I mean? Make the most of every day. Do something that makes you laugh every day. Do something that makes you cry. Even if that's quite sad, at least you're going through all the emotions that life can give you as well.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. So the next question is, what are 3 lessons that you have learned in life that are the difference that makes the difference?
Oh, okay then. So 3 lessons, sorry. So 3 lessons. So the first lesson is that nobody can make you feel any way, only you. So back in the day, I used to say, oh, they made me feel small, or they made me feel sad. And that's rubbish, because nobody can do that, only you. Yeah. Excuse me. What else? I believe that you should live, love and laugh every day. Because just as we've just said, you never know when your last day may be. And I also believe that you don't have to figure it out on your own, and you don't have to do it alone, because we are collaborative community beings, if you like. If we were all supposed to be, on our own, we'd all be living in separate caves, never speaking to each other. So those are my three lessons for life. And I think the reason why they make a difference is that, you can live, love and laugh every day. Look, most days I wake up and I go, oh, I think I'll just have 5 more minutes. But after that, I'm getting up, I'm on my mission. I want to help guide people to stop asking why me and start saying why not me. So that gets me out of bed. So, you can live, love and laugh. And sometimes life can be, a little bit difficult. Sometimes life can be sad. If you lose a pet, or if you lose somebody in your family, through death, and that's sad, right? So it's not about being happy every day, but you don't have to do it on your own. You can help, other people, and people can help you. And of course, you can be the person, only you, that decides how you're going to feel in any given moment. So I think that those are very big things for me. Those were big changes that happened in my life once I realised I had the control. What about you, Paolo? What do you think is a really good saying?
I think a good saying is, whatever you put out, you receive.
Nice.
Yeah, I really like that one, because there's lots of other quotes saying that whenever you give out, then someone will give you something back in return of your kindness. But I don't like that type of quote, because some people only give so that they can get something better in return. But what I like about the law of attraction is it's saying it all happens naturally. So you can give something else. So you might donate £100 to a charity, and then it might come back in return to you. So maybe one of your friends got you something that you've wanted for a very long time, but you didn't make that good deed so that your friends could get you that present. Just because you want to be good, and you're not hoping to get anything back in return.
Yeah, that's cool. I like that. It's really good. Really like that one indeed.
So the next question is, what is your dream adventure and why?
Dream adventure. Well, it goes back to a little bit about what I talked about before about doing the cruise with my husband, because that was just to America. I would really like to go on a world cruise for 3 months. That's what I'd like to do, so that I can see places in America and Australia again. I've been to quite a lot of places. I feel quite blessed. I've visited a lot of places. And yet, if I use one of these apps that says how much of the earth have you seen, I've probably only seen something like 30% of the earth. So there's lots of places I'd still like to go. But I'd like to combine a cruise. Yes, a world cruise. Yeah. That'd be fabulous.
Yeah, really wonderful. So the next question is, if you could choose anyone to join you on an adventure, who would it be and why?
Oh, on an adventure, who would I choose? My answers are getting a little bit samey, I think, here. But because I don't live with my husband, I would actually want to go on an adventure with my husband. A couple of reasons, really, because I feel very safe when I'm around him. So adventure to me, for some reason, I started to think about the jungle. I don't know whether or not I would ever want to go in the jungle, but that's what I started to think about. So yes, it would be with my husband because I feel safe around him, and also I'd like to share the adventure with him as well because we don't really see each other a lot. So yeah, definitely my husband.
Wow, that'd probably be an amazing adventure to go into the jungle.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it would be.
So what are you thinking
I don't think
of?
I've ever been in it.
So what are you thinking of? Walking into the jungle on your own or going on a safari?
I don't know, maybe it's your pint-sized adventure picture there that sort of made me think about being in a jungle. I don't know. Maybe I thought I could be Indiana Jones for a minute or something. But yeah, but I mean, I would like to see the wildlife in the jungle, like the monkeys and, things like that. I do like, I'd really like to sort of meet a lion and a tiger, but maybe not so much that they might want to eat me. So it'd have to be quite a tame jungle or something like that. But yeah, but I really like those programs, about the gorillas and the monkeys. I really like those films about the jungle there. So that's what comes to my mind. Swinging through the jungle like Tarzan maybe and Jane, who knows?
Oh, thank you, Sharon. The next question is, what has been the biggest challenge you have faced in your life?
The biggest challenge? That's a big question. The biggest challenge, I think, there's been a few, of course. When you get a little bit older, there's a lot of challenges, aren't there? I suppose the biggest challenge that I had was when I was married to a gentleman before Mr. C now, and he didn't feel very happy about the world. And so because he didn't feel very happy about the world, then I didn't feel very happy about the world either. But I didn't know what to do to help him to feel better. And I know that I said before that everybody is responsible for how they feel themselves. But sometimes when people don't feel very happy, they can feel as if they are out of control. I didn't have any skills. I didn't have any experience of helping him to feel better. And so that was a really big challenge for me. And I think that's one of the reasons why when I came into this personal development space, that I realised that there are tools, tips, techniques, if you like, that you can learn that you can help other people with. So first of all, I learned how to do NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. I did some training around life coaching. Then I did some hypnosis training with Marissa Peer. So I'm a clinical hypnotherapist now, and also I did some rapid transformational therapy work, so I'm an advanced rapid transformational therapist, again with the amazing Marissa Peer. And I think what all of those helped me with is, even though you're responsible for how you feel as an individual, there are times when things can get quite sad. And so I think at the time it was very challenging for me. This was back in 1994, 95 time. A long time ago, but I just didn't know what to do. And there's a little saying that says you don't know what you don't know. So I guess the positive side of that was, once I realized that there were things that you could learn, that you could help people with, I guess I'm spurred on by the fact that because I couldn't help my husband back in the day, that husband that I had then, that I could help other people moving forward. The good news is that the old husband is happily married. He's got lots of children. He seems to be having a good time in his life, you know, and my life has certainly got a lot better from those days. So the good news is, I think that even when you've had a challenge in your life, it can sometimes be the turning point to make life even better, right?
Wow. Thank you for sharing. So our next question is, what has been the reason behind your last adventure?
The reason behind the last adventure? Well, the reason behind the last adventure was to go and see Mr. C over in Doha, because I came back from there, so that was an adventure. And that was because he currently isn't working. So he went out to Doha to work, and unfortunately the company that he's working with, they decided to part company. And that was a big shock for him, because he wasn't expecting that. So I went out. The adventure this time was to plan, you know, what's going to happen next. So where is he going to work next? So he may be going to work in Hawaii, or he may be going to work in Singapore, or he might be going back to the UK. So I actually went out on a different type of adventure. So not really for a holiday. It was more about planning for the future. And sometimes you have to do that, you know, because sometimes in life you have a plan of action and you start to move in the direction of that action. And sometimes, you know, life takes you down a different path. So the adventure was more about planning moving forward this time.
Thank you for sharing. So the next adventure was, would you agree that children my age should spend more time outdoors and go on adventures? If so, why?
Oh, that's a good question, isn't it? Well, as you know, I don't have any children of my own, although I do have my nephew, Leon, who obviously you know, who's 13 now. And I think that he spends quite a bit of time outside anyway, because he likes football and boxing. I think it's a balance. I think it's a balance of being inside. You know, if it's raining, maybe it's not a good time to go outside, but sometimes that can be an adventure anyway. So I think it's a balance. I think sometimes you can spend some time inside, but I do think that being outside with nature and having adventures, you know, even if it's in your local area, even if it's in the back garden, you know, that can be an adventure. So yes, I think it's good for children to get out and about and see a lot more that's going on. I know that's what your mum does brilliantly. You know, she's taken you guys to every event I think ever created in the UK. You know, to get you out there so that you can learn, so your mind becomes more open to the opportunities, and you can see different aspects of life, which I think is really good. So yes, I think it's a balance, but it's definitely worthwhile being able to get out and go on adventures. Definitely. What do you think?
I think, well, I'm all about adventures, so I definitely think children should go outside more, because nowadays lots of children are spending time playing too much games. They are on the phone, glued to what's it called, Snapchat, or maybe they're texting their friends, and they're spending so much time in that, but they don't really realise the nature outside.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's true. I think, you know, life is an adventure. You know, there's lots of things to do just outside your window, isn't there? Let alone be looking at one of these things. There's a lot of that going on. Although I think it's a necessary evil. Maybe not for children, though. Not too young.
So thank you for sharing. So if you could give advice to your younger self, what would it be?
Advice to my younger self would be that you can do anything that you want to, and that you are enough just being yourself. That's what I would say.
Wow. Nice short and easy. Wow. That's everyone. That's literally what everybody needs nowadays. They don't really believe in themselves. The connection's what it gets. And what Cheryl was saying, if you didn't hear again, was that you should just be yourself, because a lot of people nowadays, so there's a lot of singers like that saying. Next question is, what was your first adventure and where did you go?
It was about when I was 3 years old. My dad had joined the army, So I think the first adventure I went on would have been when I was 3, when I moved to Germany. I can't remember if I went on a plane or a boat. But yeah, that would have been the first adventure because we moved away from where I was born to Germany. Yeah.
Wow, sounds like an epic adventure.
Yeah.
So I just want to say thank you so much for letting me interview you. And so I think this is our last question.
Okay.
So has this interview shifted your perspective? If so, what are you going to do now going forward?
Oh, wow, that's a good question, isn't it? So has this interview shifted my perspective? Well, it has a little bit, because it's made me realise that there are a lot of youngsters out there who already have probably a better idea about life than I did when I was your age, that's for sure. And so I suppose it's helped me to think about how I might be able to help some younger people along the journey. Because maybe, you know, I look at my audience, I think my audience are 35 plus. And yet at the same time, I know, you know, you've definitely said some wise words here today, and you've had some wise questions. So yeah, so it's changed my perspective on maybe we could have a wise kids club or something like that. That might work out quite nicely.
Thank you. Is it okay if you let people know how they can check out your social media, how they can connect with you, and maybe if you have a website, if you can share it with us so they can, and I'll put your name, your website, and how they can connect to you down in the description below. So just tell people how they can connect with you.
Yes, so if they want to go to the Find Your Why website, which is www.findyourwhyfoundation.com, and you'll be able to, you can get a free copy of our book there. We do ask for shipping and handling, and that investment goes towards the packing department, which are John and Glenys, who are our 78 years old each, and they are helping their daughter and her friend to get out to the world because it's my mum and dad. And so we just ask for a small shipping and handling fee. And you can also find out a little bit more about what we do at the Find Your Why Foundation there. Social media wise, again, Find Your Why Foundation, or Dr. Cheryl Chapman is where you'll find me on Facebook, Twitter, and also on Instagram. So thank you very much, Paolo.
Thank you. What message, as a departing message, would you like to share with whoever's listening?
Well, I think the message is just remember to live, love, and laugh every day. That's my message.
Wow. Live, love, and laugh every day. So thank you so much for letting me interview you, Adventurous Cheryl. It's been amazing interviewing you. Even though there was a poor connection, but this interview was an epic adventure because you get to hear from someone else's perspective of life and how they've overcome adversities in their life and how they've gone through challenges, but they've seen you've seen actually how you can get overcome and be the best person you can be. So live and laugh and play all you want, because life, you don't know whether tomorrow is guaranteed. So thank you for letting me interview you. Had a really fun time interviewing you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Paolo, and stay awesome as ever. Stay uniquely you, and keep smiling. Thank you so much. See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.